Welcome to the Deep Dive. Ready for a wild ride? Today we're diving into the life of Elon Musk,
Elon Musk,
the man behind Tesla.
and so much more.
It's gonna be a deep dive.
Yeah, we've got excerpts from this biography.
Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX, and the quest for a fantastic future.
And we're going way beyond the typical,
Oh, yeah.
like just the facts kind of biography.
Absolutely.
We're going to unearth
all the little details
the good, the bad, and the ugly.
about this ambitious, resilient, and some might say a little bit madcap innovator.
I think what's so interesting about his story is that it's not just rockets and electric cars, you know.
Right.
It's about ambition and how much your early experiences can impact you.
Totally.
And like the will to challenge everything.
Yeah, let's rewind all the way back to his childhood.
Okay.
His family moved from Canada to South Africa,
Wow.
a place his father had never even been.
Really?
Talk about a leap of faith.
Sounds kind of familiar though, right?
How so?
Well, that adventurous spirit runs in the family. Oh, yeah.
His grandfather,
Okay.
Joshua Haldeman, flew his family all over North America in a single-engine plane.
What?
And then later on, they moved to South Africa.
From Canada?
Yeah, because found Canada too bureaucratic.
Wow. So maybe Musk gets his nonconformist streak from his genes?
Maybe so.
But even with this crazy adventurous background,
Yeah.
young Elon was actually pretty introspective.
Huh.
Almost an outsider in the whole, like, hyper-masculine culture
Oh, yeah, definitely
of South Africa.
Yeah.
And his relationship with his dad was complex, too.
Yeah.
Elon's described his dad, Elon Musk,
Mm-hmm.
as someone who could just, like, take any situation,
So, okay.
doesn't matter how good,
Uh-huh.
and just make it bad.
Oh, wow.
Makes you wonder how those early relationships kind of shaped his drive.
For sure, for sure.
Definitely something to think about.
It is.
Speaking of drive, though,
Okay.
Musk was already an entrepreneur at 12 years old.
12.
Selling a video games, he coded himself.
No way.
Yeah, like he was meant for this life in tech. He definitely had a knack for it.
Ugh, but those early years weren't a piece of cake.
Oh, of course not.
He worked odd jobs after moving to Canada before finally attending university.
Wow, so even Elon Musk had to pay his dues
Right.
to hustle.
It really shows that even the most successful people
Yeah.
face setbacks.
Mm-hmm.
But here's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
In college,
Yeah.
he wrote this paper predicting the rise of solar power.
Interesting.
And it wasn't just a prediction.
Right.
He actually proposed these innovative solutions
Really?
for harnessing and distributing solar energy.
Oh.
And like these ideas
Yeah.
really foreshadow his work with Solar City and Tesla.
That's pretty amazing.
Like, what struck you about his thinking back then?
You know, it's fascinating because he was already thinking so big,
Okay.
like in terms of systems
Mhm.
and scale.
Yeah.
He wasn't just like, oh, this is a cool technology.
Right.
It was more about how to implement it
Yeah.
on a huge scale.
Like a global scale.
Yeah, global to make a real difference.
Wow.
You can see the seeds of his ambition to like change the world to sustainable energy even way back then.
He even included a drawing of a space-based power station.
No way.
Talk about foreshadowing.
That's wild.
But before we get ahead of ourselves to
Yes.
Tesla and SpaceX,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about Musk's first company,
Okay.
Zip2.
Zip2.
This was an online city guide,
Okay.
and it wasn't an overnight success.
Oh, yeah.
Zip2's journey is like the perfect example
Yeah.
of the struggles and wins
Ups and downs.
of Silicon Valley.
Totally.
Musk and his brother Kimball faced it all.
Like what?
Setbacks,
Uh-huh.
technical hurdles,
Oh, yeah.
funding issues,
The whole 9 yards.
a whole 9 yards.
Wow.
But they eventually sold it
They did.
to Compaq for a whopping
Much.
$307 million.
Wow, that's got to feel good.
That's hitting the jackpot.
That is.
But I'm curious, what did that experience teach him? It wasn't just about the money, was it?
No, it wasn't just about the money. You're right.
Yeah.
Selling Zip2 was like a good and bad thing.
Okay.
Like, yeah, it was a huge financial success.
Right.
But it also showed him firsthand, like the downsides of big corporations.
Okay.
Compaq basically like took Zip2's vision
Yeah.
and got rid of it.
Changed it.
Yeah, and that really stuck with him.
Okay.
Like he realized how important it was to keep control of his companies
Right.
and his vision.
So that brings us to X.com,
X.com.
his jump into the world of online financial services.
Okay.
And of course, it eventually merged with
Thanks for-
Infinity to become the giant we all know
I know.
as PayPal.
PayPal.
It wasn't a smooth merger, though.
I bet it wasn't.
There were some intense power struggles,
Yeah.
personality clashes,
Mm-hmm.
and even a dramatic boardroom coup that got Musk kicked out as CEO.
Oh,
Wow, he was on his honeymoon.
on his honeymoon.
Talk about a stressful vacation, but he didn't let that stop him.
Oh, no.
Soon after, he got super sick with malaria
Oh.
and almost didn't make it.
Wow.
This guy seems to thrive on challenges.
It's almost like those near-death experiences gave him this sense of urgency.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like no time to waste,
Yeah.
got to get things done.
Right.
And it was around this time that he shifted his focus to something really big, space exploration with SpaceX.
Okay, so SpaceX.
Yeah, SpaceX is a whole different game.
Yeah, totally different.
Like he was going up against these huge established aerospace companies.
Right.
And a lot of people thought he was crazy.
I mean, I can imagine.
He was even ridiculed by people in the industry.
Really?
Yeah. And those first Falcon 1 rocket launches,
Oh, yeah.
they didn't exactly go to plan.
Definitely had some bumps in the road.
Put it that way.
Those early failures could have stopped SpaceX completely.
Oh, for sure.
But how Musk reacted to those setbacks, it's really interesting.
What did he do?
Instead of giving up, he went all in.
Wow.
He put even more money and resources
Okay.
into research and development,
Mm.
learned from every single mistake,
Yeah.
and just kept improving the design.
He just kept iterating.
It's like a true engineer's mindset,
Absolutely.
that constant need to improve.
Never give up.
He was okay with failing,
Okay.
but he was determined to learn from those failures.
So what happened?
And you know, that persistence paid off
It did.
with the successful launch of the Falcon 1.
That's awesome.
That was a huge turning point.
It was.
I mean, it proved to everyone,
yeah.
and maybe even to himself,
Maybe.
that SpaceX wasn't just some crazy dream.
Right.
It was a serious player
Real contender.
in the space race.
Wow.
And it could change the whole industry.
That's incredible.
Yeah, around this time, Musk's influence started to reach beyond just the tech world.
Oh, really? How so?
Remember that story about Robert Downey Jr. visiting SpaceX?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
It said that that visit actually inspired some parts of the Iron Man character.
Oh, wow. So he was like a real-life Tony Stark.
Yeah, and that's when Musk's image really starts to take shape.
Okay.
He became a cultural icon,
Yeah.
this symbol of innovation and crazy ambition.
Uh,
But he wasn't done disrupting industries.
what else did he do?
He had his sights set on something much closer to home,
Okay.
something that could impact millions of people,
Like what?
revolutionizing the auto industry.
Auto industry.
With Tesla Motors,
Tesla.
the Tesla Roadster was a game changer.
It was.
The first high-performance electric car.
I mean,
But what were the biggest challenges
Mm.
Musk faced in those early days of Tesla?
I know there were the production delays.
Yes.
And financial struggles.
All that stuff.
But what else?
What were some of those less obvious hurdles?
So besides like the logistics and the money stuff,
Yeah.
Musk also had to overcome this like widespread skepticism about electric cars.
Oh, right.
Back then.
Yeah.
They were seen as slow,
Uh-huh.
impractical,
Yeah.
and not very cool.
Not cool at all.
He had to like change the whole public perception,
Right.
not just build a good car.
Yeah. That must have been tough.
Definitely an uphill battle.
And then 2008 hit.
Oh,
That was like the perfect storm.
oh no.
Personal and professional crises.
What happened?
He was going through a divorce.
Uh,
Tesla and SpaceX were both close to bankruptcy.
no.
And the global economy was a mess.
Oh my God. How did he survive all that?
I know, right?
Seriously.
That was a true test for Musk.
Yeah.
He had to make some incredibly difficult decisions.
Okay.
Putting all his own money into Tesla and SpaceX,
You risked it all?
risked everything to keep his dreams alive.
Wow.
There were times when it seemed like everything was going to fall apart.
I bet.
It's amazing that he pulled through.
It really is.
And not just survived, but came out even stronger.
Stronger.
And more determined.
More determined. Wow.
What do you think was it about him,
Hmm.
like his personality
Yeah.
or his approach,
Mm.
that let him get through all of that?
Well, I think it was a bunch of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he just believes in his vision so strongly.
Yeah.
And he's willing to take risks.
Right. Calculated risks.
Exactly. And he just refuses to give up.
He just won't accept defeat.
It's amazing.
It's like he can just focus on the task at hand,
yeah.
even when everything around him is chaos.
He's just got that focus.
There's definitely an intensity to him.
There is.
And that intensity shows up in his management style, too, which, let's be real,
Okay.
isn't exactly known for being warm and fuzzy.
He's a tough boss.
He demands a lot from his employees.
Yeah, we've heard that.
He's known for those ambitious deadlines,
Right.
pushing his teams hard and being very direct.
Okay.
Some might even say blunt.
Blunt with his communication style.
But there's another side to that intensity too, right?
Oh, yeah. What's that?
People are drawn to his vision
Yeah.
and inspired by his passion. There's this feeling that working at Tesla or SpaceX, it's not just a job. It's more than a job.
It's a chance to be part of something huge,
Part of history.
something historic.
Exactly.
Like they're all united by this shared mission,
Yeah.
this grand ambition.
I can see that.
But let's be honest.
Okay.
Musk's public persona
Yeah.
can be a bit polarizing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been called a visionary genius,
Uh-huh.
a reckless gambler,
Mm-hmm.
even a real-life Tony Stark.
Wow. Are those labels accurate?
What do you think?
It's interesting, right?
Heck
He's
yeah.
such a complex guy,
Yeah.
full of contradictions.
Right.
On one hand, you have these amazing achievements,
Yeah.
these crazy goals he somehow manages to pull off.
Uh-huh.
But then there's that recklessness,
Yeah.
a tendency to overpromise and underdeliver.
He definitely doesn't shy away from bold statements.
What kind of statements?
Oh, colonizing Mars, building a hyperloop,
Oh, yeah.
revolutionizing transportation with self-driving cars.
Wow.
But then he actually goes and does these things.
Does he that everyone thought were impossible?
It's mind-blowing.
It's like he's playing a different game.
Totally different rules.
Yeah, totally different rules than everyone else.
There's definitely something mysterious about him.
Yeah.
Like he's on another wavelength.
Right.
And I think that's why he's so fascinating.
I agree.
We're just drawn to his audacity.
Totally.
His willingness to challenge everything,
Mm-hmm.
even if we don't know if he's a genius or a madman,
Or maybe both.
or a little bit of both.
So how do we make sense of those seemingly opposite parts of his personality?
Right.
The brilliant engineer,
Yeah.
the tough businessman, the eccentric showman.
It's like he's constantly pushing the limits.
Yeah.
Not just of technology, but of what we think is even possible.
I think to understand Musk,
Okay.
you have to realize his ambition isn't just about herself.
What do you mean?
It's not about ego or money.
Okay.
It seems like it comes from this deeper sense of purpose.
Purpose.
Like he wants to solve these huge existential problems
Wow.
and ensure that humanity survives.
Like save the world kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's talked about his fear of AI,
Artificial intelligence.
his worries about climate change,
Right.
and his belief that colonizing Mars
Yeah.
is essential for our future.
So it's like he's on this mission
He is.
to save humanity from itself.
And that mission, that sense of urgency, seems to fuel his drive,
It does.
his willingness to take risks,
Yeah.
and his kind of unconventional way of solving problems.
Like thinking outside the
He
box.
doesn't just want to build companies.
Fair
he wants
enough.
to change the world.
That's a powerful motivator.
It is.
But that much ambition has to come with a price, right?
Of course.
Like his personal life, his relationships, even his own well-being.
Absolutely.
Maintaining that intensity all the time
Yeah.
can't be easy.
It can't.
And you can see that strain in his personal life.
Like how?
His multiple marriages.
Right.
The demands he puts on everyone around him.
Yeah.
It's like he's given up some of his own happiness. Okay. To achieve his vision.
It makes you wonder, can you really change the world
Yeah.
without sacrificing something of yourself?
That's a deep question.
And what is the cost of that ambition?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's one that I think Musk is struggling with, too.
You think so?
Yeah, we see hints of it,
In what?
like in his interviews.
Okay.
When he seems vulnerable,
Yeah.
when he expresses doubt or worry,
Mm-hmm.
he's not just this superhero.
Right.
He's a human being.
With real problems.
Yeah, facing huge challenges
Yeah.
and dealing with the weight of his own ambition.
Yeah. It's amazing how his successes and struggles are kind of tied together,
They really are.
But it's not just about him, though, is it?
It's not.
It's about the impact he's having on the world.
Right.
Like the companies he's built and the future he's trying to create.
The big picture.
Exactly.
And that's what's really interesting to me.
Okay.
We can talk about his personality all day long.
Yeah.
His drive, his flaws.
But in the end, it's the work that really matters.
It is.
And with Tesla and SpaceX, he's tackling some huge problems facing humanity.
The biggest ones.
So let's start with Tesla.
Okay.
Electric cars have gone from like a niche thing
Yeah,
to a mainstream option.
totally.
And Tesla's been leading the way.
They have.
But is it enough to actually make a difference with climate change?
That's the question.
Some people say electric cars are just a Band-Aid,
A Band-Aid.
that we need bigger changes.
Systemic changes.
Yeah, to really solve the problem.
What do you think about that?
What am I? I think it's a good point.
Okay.
Switching to electric cars is important,
Yeah.
but it's only one part of the solution.
Right.
We need to change how we produce energy,
Uh,
how much we use,
Mhm.
and our infrastructure.
Totally.
And I think Musk gets that.
You do?
Yeah.
How?
His vision for Tesla, it's not just about making cars.
Okay.
It's about building a whole sustainable energy system.
That's ambitious.
It is.
But I think he's up for the challenge.
Yeah, like with the Gigafactory.
The Gigafactory.
Making tons of batteries.
Right.
And Solar City.
Solar energy.
Yeah, he's trying to tackle the problem from all sides.
It's a multi-pronged approach.
But it's a massive undertaking.
It is.
And there's no guarantee it'll work.
That's true.
That's the risk with any big, ambitious goal.
Yeah, you got to admire his willingness to try, though.
I do.
To put his money where his mouth is.
Right, he's not just complaining.
He's doing something about it.
He's in the trenches.
He's rolling up his sleeves and getting to work.
And then there's SpaceX.
SpaceX.
Which is even crazier.
It is pretty wild.
The idea of living on Mars
Yeah.
seemed like science fiction not too long ago.
Definitely.
But now SpaceX is building reusable rockets
Reusable rockets.
and pushing the limits of space travel.
It's amazing.
It's starting to feel like it could really happen.
It could.
But why Mars?
Right.
Why not focus on fixing things here on Earth first?
That's a good question.
That's what a lot of people ask Musk.
And what does he say?
He usually talks about long-term survival.
Okay.
He thinks becoming a multi-planetary species.
A multi-planetary species?
Yeah.
Like living on multiple planets?
Right, is the only way to guarantee humanity's future.
That's interesting.
Like, we need a backup plan
A backup plan.
in case something bad happens to Earth.
Like a catastrophic event.
Yeah,
Wow. That's a bold claim.
it is.
And I bet people have a lot to say about that.
They do.
Some think it's a distraction,
Hmm.
and others think it's crucial for our future.
Where do you stand?
It's tough.
Yeah.
I think we need to deal with the problems we have here and now,
Right.
but also look for solutions in the long term
Yeah.
and explore new possibilities.
Explore.
Yeah, Musk's vision for SpaceX reminds us that humanity can do amazing things
We can.
if we set our minds to it.
So where does all of this leave us?
Good question.
We've talked about Elon Musk's childhood,
Yeah.
his journey as an entrepreneur, his success,
His failures
his ambition.
and his flaws.
What's the takeaway?
What we've learned.
What's your biggest impression from this deep dive?
For me, it's about ambition and never giving up.
Resilience.
Yeah, resilience and the power of human ingenuity.
I like that.
Musk isn't perfect.
Yeah,
He's made mistakes,
for sure.
pushed people too hard,
Hmm.
and caused a lot of controversy.
But he's also done things people thought were impossible.
He has
He's changed how we think
pushed the limits of technology
and inspired so many people to dream big.
that he has.
He's definitely a polarizing figure,
Yeah, some people love him,
and some people hate him.
but you can't ignore his impact.
You can't.
He's made us rethink what's possible,
Yeah.
confront our own limits,
Hmm.
and think about the kind of future we want.
That's powerful stuff.
It is.
So what do you think?
About what?
What parts of Elon Musk's story really stood out to you?
What resonated with me the most?
Yeah.
I think
What are your own dreams?
my own dreams.
And what can you learn from both his wins and his losses? This deep dive wasn't just about one man.
It wasn't.
It was about the potential we all have
Okay.
to push past our limits.
Our perceived limits.
Yeah, and strive for something amazing.
That's a great way to put it.
So until next time,
Yeah.
keep exploring.